Um, so yeah, but before before I read the poem, I want to give Moose and Call Me First the opportunity to introduce themselves. Tell us what they do. Tell us what they got going on because I wanted to. I'm not. This is anybody that's on my panel. I want them to. I want anybody listening to also follow them because if they're on this panel, believe me, they have something to offer you, or at least I believe they have something to offer you. Um. So yeah. Brother Moose, you want to tell us who you are, what you do on this live, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, hey family, how's everybody? Thank you, Justin. Hey, brother Damien, how you doing? Listen, for me, I am a work in progress. I am healing. I am trying to heal our people and leave a legacy behind for not just my children and children's children, but everyone. So we're all about healing. I'm a poet, writer, a thoughter, whatever, everything. So what we're doing is just about healing. So everything we do is for you. That's me.
Shout out to Brother Moose for that. Thank you so much for being on the panel. Brother, call me first. You want to tell them who you are, what you do, what to look for, where to find you, all that good stuff.
Yo, listen, appreciate you guys having me. Let me know if you can hear me. You can hear me? Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you guys having me. Moose, thank you for the shout out. Justin, thank you for doing this. Thank you for having a live. Thank you for the support all you guys give each other. That's I just watch and I'm just amazed and impressed at the support you guys give each other, and for you to even allow us to even speak and tell our piece of what's going on, brother. I commend you for that. I don't see that a lot on my side. Let me tell you the truth. I don't see that a lot on my side. And just for you guys doing it, and I've been telling Moose the same thing, that this group, the support from this group is like something I never seen before, right? And just to go a little further, and I'm Damien. I'm the owner and everything of Call Me First. Call Me First is just a movement for men that, let me not say just a movement. It is a movement for men that I want everyone to, especially all men, to understand what Call Me First really is. Call Me First is the stature that you put up to your family in any situation. As the man, as the leader, as the protector, the provider, you are the first call for your family. If they have to call someone else first, you aren't doing your job as the leader of the family. So Call Me First is that movement. And I want everyone to understand that as men, this is a standard that we have to live by. It's an oath. It's a pledge. It is, what it is what we stand for as men. That's what we're supposed to stand for as men, especially when we have families. So I am the author of the Call Me First book, the Call Me First series. I got a couple more books coming out right now, workbook, and also 25 things a man must do in preparation for marriage. That is also another book that I'm coming out with, the Call Me First workbook that goes with both my books. And I'm also an entrepreneur right now, just trying to make, do the thing and expand this brand, expand this movement as much as I can. And I want to thank you guys for having me on again. Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving this space the opportunity to be graced with your presence because for me, that's what it's about. Um, as you all just heard, the brother has a lot going on, and he has 25 things that a man needs before entering the marriage. If I would have, wish I'd have met you at 22 when I tried marriage for. Perhaps I would be in a different space, but God has all things in His own time and in His own way. So I'll just go with that. I see Miss Faye is in the building. That's a beautiful thing. How you doing, Miss Faye? I was just telling everybody, Miss Faye. For those who don't know, Miss Faye is my sister and a registered nurse who literally stays on my head about this cough. And so I went to the doctor. I told Miss Faye what was going on. Right, sis? Right? But you know what? That's what this space is. This space is about healing. That's why I wanted to make it very clear. We are not here to argue and to fight and to bash women. That's not what this space is. I'm so glad that he's here because I'm pretty sure, um, based on what I'm about to read, he's going to be able to give us Really good. I think what he has to say is going to be of real value, as well as Moose, and as well as anybody that has something to say. I just want to make it clear that if you ask me a question, I am saving all of my question asking for the third series because today the gentlemen are talking. Next week the women will be talking. The following week we will call co-op. Any women that's interested in being a part of it next week, please reach out to Nero Originals, aka Juggling Mommy, and she will let you know whether or not you know what that is. I have given her full reign to be able to do what she feels is best for the women's co-op. I think she's writing a poem, or maybe she can discuss this particular poem. For those who are about to read it who don't catch it, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the nugget up front. While this poem sounds gendered, it is not a gendered poem. I am speaking as a man, but not on the behalf a man, and you can listen to this as a man, or you can listen to this as a woman who is armored, because women go into um relationships armored, or what we call walled. They have a wall build up as well, and I am of the belief that that is not going to get us anywhere, but that's just me. Gratefully we have a man here who is teaching men how to build themselves into a space where you can go into a relationship, uh, not necessarily unarmed, but you can go into a relationship prepared to be what you're supposed to be in said relationship. So at this time, I am going to read the piece. This piece was written maybe about 2 weeks ago. I was having I was on a live. I believe she's in here. Her name is Takora. If you are not familiar with her and she's still here, I was on her live and she was having a discussion, and she said something that kind of triggered this piece. Um, and I had to get off live. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be right back, because if you're a writer, then you know once you get that inspiration, you gotta get it out. So I ended up leaving her live and going and writing and critiquing and thinking about and putting the questions with and so forth and so on, all of that. Um, as soon as I heard it. And my brother Moose, he doesn't know this. I mean, he's about to hear this for the first time. But Moose is somebody that I know who has fought for the country, and so a lot of the things that I've heard him say, there's inspiration from him even within the piece, as somebody who has fought for the country. And so I'm very interested in hearing what him and Brother Damien has to say. I was waiting on vulnerable perspective. I'm certain he'll be in eventually, but at this time I'm going to go ahead and get started. The title of the title of this piece is Sleeping in War Armor. While I am reading this, I will not be looking up. So if you say something to me or have something to say to me, please wait till I look up. I look up on occasion, um, but I'll be looking down at the piece. So I apologize in advance if I miss anything anybody has to say, but I'm going to start it. Sleeping in War Armor by author Justin Wilson. War armor is designed to protect a combatant's body from harm. Metal, leather, ceramics, composites, ballistic fibers, built to absorb the blows of swords, arrows, bullets, and explosions. It's made for survival, for conflict, for the chaos of the battlefield. Now imagine trying to sleep in that, trying to rest while fully engulfed in metal and weight and rigid plates that don't bend, pressure digging into your chest, bulk pressing into your ribs, heat building and getting trapped under every layer, noise with every shift, every breath reminding you that you're dressed for a war you're not supposed to be fighting while you're asleep. Next to the one you love. Imagine leaving the battlefield that is life, finally making it to a decent mattress, but carrying the mentality of a war zone under your pajamas. Imagine laying down next to someone you love, fully armored. Imagine whispering, I love you, to the very person you feel forced to defend yourself against. How devastating is that? How painful is it to hate that you need protection from the one you want to be vulnerable with? How painful is that? Why do we build imaginary worlds inside our minds, sell ourselves unrealistic fantasies, and then get angry at someone else for not buying into a story we never even said out loud? If we want love, real love, if we want peace, real peace, we have to leave the battlefield. We have to take off the armor. We are not at war. I am not your enemy, my love. Peace. Um, Thank you, Jared, for coming in. But yeah, so that is the piece. These are the wait, bro. Oh yeah, so these are the four gentlemen that I wanted to be a part of this discussion. Jared, I don't know if you heard the piece, but you have read it, right? I think I definitely know I sent it to you. Okay. All right, so until Jared can get there, we're gonna start with Brother Moose. Now I do have questions, but I before I get to the questions, I'm going to leave it open to anybody, any of the brothers on the panel who wants to who wants to attack or share what their thoughts are on what they had, what they just heard in this piece. And all of you, I believe I at least posted it in our chat for everybody to read it so that they can have a discussion. I will say when I feel like we live in a culture that requires men to be stoic. Um, you're not necessarily given permission to feel. The only acceptable emotion a lot of times is anger, um, or aggression. Okay, is aggression. Now, this is my humble opinion. Please feel free to disagree, and please, if you disagree, please share with me your perspective so perhaps I can change my I can change my perception of it. I'm very open to having my perception change. But I think that always having on the armor or feeling like you have to have on the armor, we go into relationships, um, waiting for the failure, waiting for the hurt, waiting for the deception, waiting to be mishandled, mistreated, and unappreciated because it's almost expected in many cases. And again, this is my humble opinion. Um, this is an experience. This is also when I watch this stuff on social media, it becomes super obvious to me that this is a part of the culture. Um, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it, and that's what inspired the piece. Is like I don't see how we can go into anything fully armored against it as if it's a battle and then expect to win in it and at it when it's a perceived threat. The only thing you do with a threat is to eliminate it. And I'm choosing my words carefully because I don't want any issues with the rules. So yeah. Um, Brother Moose or Brother Damien, what are your thoughts?
Um, hey Justin, man, you brought me back to about 3, 4 years ago.
Mm,
The relationship I had before I got married. That is exactly what I had to deal with
Mm,
in the sense of being prepared for a war every encounter, every single encounter, right? And as rough as it was, now in my newfound sense of maturity that I believe that I gained over the last couple of years, right? My newfound sense of maturity. I'm at a point right now where I'm not even throwing blame at anybody's direction. I'm looking at myself. What could I have done better? How could I have brought the temperature down in every argument? How could I have changed the tone? How could I have done what could I have done better? I don't think I did the best I could to in any part of that, right? I was a part of the conflict. I was a part of the arguments. I was a part of, what I mean, I indulge in all the stuff. Here's the thing, right? And this is a part about what I'm writing in my newest book, right? We grow up in a sense of thank you. We grew up in a sense of like me, I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, right? And I went to Week High School, right? So, and you know what I mean, from being in the hood and you around certain things, you got to carry a certain persona. If you don't, you get ran over, you get walked over, you get dealt with a certain way, right? So you got to have a certain persona. I wound up being in a situation with someone that had the same exact persona as me. We wind up clashing. Everything was an argument. Everything was this and everything was that. After it's all said and done, and I had time to sit back a year after that relationship went by, and I sat back and I found a new me. Realized that there were things that I needed to address within myself, things I needed to change within myself, right? And then I think you said a part about how do you break that armor down, right? Here's where I screwed up at and got set straight in all the same aspect, right? That what I was used to from that previous relationship, when I got with my wife, I was still, hold on a second. Yeah, sorry. I was still with that same mindset, right? Here's the thing, my wife wasn't. She wasn't with it. So what happened now was me being the argumentative type. Hold up. Me being the argumentative type, right? Wanted to go back and forth with the arguing and the, you know what I mean? Me just being the aggressive person. It didn't sit well with my wife, right? And my wife pretty much told me like, bro, I'm not off any of that stuff that you're doing. Listen, that's not how I am. That's not how I function. That's not how I react. That's not how I do things. You're going to have to grow up. You act like a little kid. You're going to have to grow up. And normally we'll take that as, oh man, you disrespecting me, you playing me, you acting like a little boy. That's, for men, that's one of them things that set us off. We get triggered by it. Now we want to go. And then, like I said, in my newfound sense of maturity, I stopped back and I sat and I thought about it. And I realized that what she was saying is true. Do I want to change? Yes. Is she worth the change? Yes. So to answer your question about when you let the armor down, I found a person that brought the soft side out of me, that brought the fact that I don't have to fight and I don't have to battle anymore. It's not the same. You feel what I'm saying? I couldn't treat both situations the same. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen like that for everybody, but here's the thing. When you get self-development and you get to the point where you can control yourself, and here's one of my favorite things, right? You don't have to show up, whether it's a man or woman, you don't have to show up to every argument that you're invited to. You can choose to react or to respond. If you react, it's going to be an argument. If you respond, you say what you got to say and you get up out of there if you need to. That's just how I look at it. And that's my part to it.
So before Moose go, what you just said sound like something that is from the current book that you have out. Like you talked about something to that effect in the current book that is being pushed, right?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely did. Definitely did. It was like I said, chapter 4. It's a section there when I met my wife. Chapter 4 in that book. But yeah.
Right. So for those of you who haven't got it, there is a steep look into what you get when you get the book. And as you can see, um, had he kept the armor on, he wouldn't have been able to be in that space that allowed him to be able to have what he has now. And I think I can speak for him in saying that he would have gladly taken all of that armor off with ease if he had known in the beginning, but he stepped out on faith and still reaped the rewards of that. Hey Moose, it's on you.
Copy that. I'm here, brother. Sorry. Uh, so for me, um, one of the biggest things. Sorry, sorry, I'm in here building Legos with the kids. So, one of the biggest things for me regarding the armor, um, it's been really hard because I've lived that life. I'm living that life. I got you, son. I'm living that life, trying to, I guess, put the armor down, and it is a rough experience, man. I have one more too. For me, I can't let the armor go because I haven't found a space where I'm safe enough without the armor, at least mentally, at least mentally. And for me, it is just trying to get through that every day. You know, like and it's like it's not that I haven't taken the armor off at a point. I have. But then when I've taken it off, there was injury, immediate injury. And it was like, all right, I got to put this back on. I can't afford to take it off, you know? So for me, that's, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory made a statement before. He said, like, and I liken what I feel to this. He said, to be black in America is to be like in a constant state of adrenaline, right? And you're in that constant fight or flight mode. And for me as a man, I feel like I'm in a constant state of fight or flight. So I don't have the option to take the armor off. You don't want to get caught slipping. It's kind of like what Damien was talking about earlier, like growing to school. You know what it was like every day. And unfortunately, when you're in unhealthy states and unhealthy spaces, taking the armor off and getting caught slipping can be so detrimental to you. So I really applaud this series that you started because it's really important to talk about the armors that we wear and how they impact us. So I'm here for it. That's my thought. But I really wish that I could put this armor down. I want to know what it looks like to be in a space where I can put the armor down. So that's my thoughts. I'm done. I can't hear you, bro.
My bad, I forgot the mute was on. Before you go, I want to ask you because we're gonna go back to Damien after this. So two things I want you to think about and answer wherever you feel. What does war armor look like to you personally? Like, how does that war armor manifest in you personally? From you, rather than using um, the metaphors to explain different parts of the armor. How does that armor manifest for you personally?
All right. So for me, the best way to explain it, you ever see Batman versus Superman?
Yes,
You ever see that armor Batman had to wear to fight Superman?
yes.
That's how that armor looked like for me. It
Okay.
has parts where my hands are free, so that way I can be able to touch like this little guy
Yeah.
and help them out. You know what I'm saying? With my hands, but That armor is like a heavy metallic armor that protects me from everything.
Absolutely.
I can't even it, whatever I feel comes in. It's like I'm not even feeling what's really around me. I'm only feeling a percentage of it, right? Because I'm so cut off. My brownie keyboard. Well, we'll have to put another one, all right? Can you have this one? Yes, you can have that one. That's okay. We'll get another one. That was mine. Can we let your brother have that one? Yeah. Thank you.
Good time, man. Shout out to you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, So I don't even feel just things around you normally. I don't feel what it feels like. Like if someone were to touch you in a loving way, or I don't even know what that feels like. I can't sense or feel the things around me that I would love to feel. I would love to engage in. I would love to feel human, you know? So like
Mm,
in one of my poems, I talk about it. I said, like I don't even know what love's kiss feels like on my skin. I don't even know what it feels like. And in another poem I put like I've been wearing the armor so long, I don't know what anything feels like. I don't know what it feels like to be out the armor,
mm.
you know? So I
So
get
what?
moments. Go ahead, I'm
No, go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead. Go. No, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You get moments where, like I told you, where you feel like you can take the armor off, but instantly you got to put it right back on. So
Mm,
you can't even enjoy the moment where it feels like you got to put it on because everything reminds you to put it right back on. So you're not safe at all, you know?
um, I'm gonna ask you this, and then we're going back to Brother Damien, because me and you wearing uh armor, but Brother Damien, like Martin Luther King, he seen the other side. He been over. He over there. He
I
where the
got you.
birds
I
chirping.
laughed at that one. That was a good one, man.
So we want to hear from him because he gonna give us something to look forward to. But Moose, at what point did you start to feel like? At what point did love start to feel like a battlefield instead of a safe space or place?
Mm, for me, love be love became a battlefield when I succumbed to it. When I succumbed to it. When I gave myself over to love, that's when it became a battlefield. When I was protective enough, it did not seem like a battlefield because maybe it felt like there was still something to gain by invoking my love, right? Invoking me to put the defenses down, to let my guard down. And once I let my guard down and actually chose to let love be from me, exude from me, that's when all injury came to me.
Mm,
And I began at that point to dodge things and yes, I am dodge things and parry things and try to understand while still taking the injuries, still taking the arrows, still taking the cuts, and the bruises from blocking blows. And I realized like, yo, I can't sustain this. This is not sustainable.
mhm.
And because I was unhealthy as well, and I didn't say, hey, run from this. This is not love. This is not real because I was unhealthy, So, and I talk about that. I talk about, dealing with abandonment issues. I talk about codependency and stuff like that because those were things that I dealt with, right? So it became a constant battlefield. And I have this inquisitive aspect to myself. I'm always wondering, like, okay, what's going on? Why is it like this? How can we fix this? What can I do to make this better? So I'm always trying to find solutions while I'm taking and dodging and experiencing explosions and you name it, right?
Right.
So when I realized that was not sustainable, but I was still not at a healthy space to walk away from the battlefield, I just put armor on in the battlefield of love. And that's what I've been continuously dealing with. So I'm constantly locked into armor.
Mm. Man, I want to get into so much, but brother Damien, okay, so before brother Damien go, I'm gonna just share my part of it. I feel like I'm like you, where there is the past has taught me quite a bit. I've looked at behaviors and patterns, and they're familiar to me, and so when I see them, no matter who they come from, I still see I still see what I see. I still see that. So I heard the brothers talking about explosion. So every time I tried to start a conversation, and maybe the way I started it wasn't social media enough, and the explosion happened, I learned. I learned how to avoid the explosion. And if in the process of avoiding the explosion, it means avoiding any kind of conversation with you at all, then you do that. Um, you learn how to defend yourself against the pain as the pain comes your way. Now, like brother Damien said, there are those of us who defend ourselves against attacks that aren't happening. Um, and that's where having a conversation and being able to talk freely and say, this is where I'm at and this is what's going on. There's a beauty and a liberation and a freedom in that that can allow growth between everybody, or those who are involved in relationship. Now, relationship is not just limited to men and women. It can be friends and family members, but vulnerability must be allowed. It must be allowed in order for the growth necessary to not live in that hyper vigilant state. um we must be allowed to grow, and then we as men must learn how to do this um from those who have done it. And with that said, um brother Damien, what do you have to say on what you've heard so far? What do you want to share to the gentlemen and the ladies in the chat and the FYP that'll watch it later? What do you have to say to them to help us understand how to go from that armored space to that space that allows a man to go out in the world, experience the battlefield, but then come home, and just like some of us have to take our shoes off at the front door, or our significant others will, y'all know what I'm saying. Um, I'm sorry, I got a puzzle piece. I don't know why, but I got a puzzle piece. So yeah, shout out to Dr. GLK for being here. What do you say to those who have to how do you get to that space other than having somebody? Is there a way for a man to preemptively get into that space? Because based on what you say, you got to that space because you had someone who loves you, who helped you get there. How can somebody who doesn't have that help get there preemptively?
Um, I can tell you from my story, I didn't have help actually getting there. I I got there through, damn, you're taking me back, bro. I got there through nights of crying by myself in my apartment, right? I got there through beating myself up wondering, yeah, what could I have done better, right? I got there through just an overall struggle and repeating the fights, the arguments and things like, of course you see the good times that happen too, but yeah, I didn't have help getting there. But what I did was I found what I wanted. When I say I found what I wanted, I went dove deep inside of myself and asked myself, what did I want? What did I want, right? What did I want? And I told y'all this before when I was on another live with y'all that I never wanted to get married, right? Like I see it, and I see people going through whatever it was they was going through, and I'm like, yeah, I ain't getting married. But during that year, I took a year, bro. I ain't date, I ain't go out, I ain't hang out, nothing. I sat back and I worked, got my money together, beat myself up. I whooped my tail. I want to say another word, but I whooped my tail, right? You feel what I'm saying? And it was a time of getting to know me, right? And then what I found during that time was, right, I realized that you got to have a purpose that's your purpose, right? A purpose that's your purpose. What is your purpose here? You got to have, I ain't say you got to have, but this is what worked for me. I found it exactly what I wanted, right? Exactly what I wanted. And then after going through what I went through, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up, right? I'm not what you call a dive-in spiritual person. When I call it a dive-in spiritual person, like I'm on most people here, like, man, you read the Bible and whatever, and you do your thing with the Bible. Me, I don't. I'm gonna say this. I don't read the Bible. I'm a believer of God, right? I don't know if that works. That people understand where I'm coming from with that, right? I am a believer of God, right? And during this time when I was going through that year of struggle and everything that I was going through, I made a promise, right? I made a promise to God. I really sat down. I spoke to God, Justin and Moose and everybody else here, right? I really sat and I spoke to God and I said, God, if you get me through this slump that I'm in right now, if you could get me through this slump I'm in right now, I promise I'm gonna be a righteous dude from here on out. I promise I'm gonna do the right thing. I ain't gonna cheat. I ain't gonna do none of this. I ain't gonna. It's to the point. Here's the story, right? It's to the point, right? I like some of my cameras and stuff like that. I need a new lens. One of my lenses fell. It's a 16 millimeter lens. It's like maybe $400. I had just bought it from Best Buy, right? And the lens fell. It stopped working. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go to Best Buy. I'm going to buy one, and I'm going to put this old one back in there, and I'm going to go get my money back. Justin, moves everybody in. I got a new lens, and I still got the old one. This is the promise that I made. I can't do no sideways nonsense no more. I can't do nothing out of pocket no more, because I realized that when you make a commitment to God, you make a movement with God, bro. It ain't like me making a movement with one of my bros or whatever like that. If you break that, bro, everything that I got right now, ever since that move, I got so much. Whether it's material stuff, whether it's knowledge, whether it's whatever, I got so much since that move that I'm so thankful for it. And I don't want to screw that up. You feel what I'm saying? So to go deeper into answering your question, how do you get to that spot? Got to find out what you want. What do you want? What do you want? Do you want a family? Do you want kids? Do you want a wife? You want somebody to come home to where everything, you know what I mean, the vision that you have in your head is taken care of? Listen, if you get into that situation and you get into any situation with a woman, whatever situation, and these things aren't lining up for you, get out earlier. It's more women out there, right? It's more, get out earlier. If that's the case, get out earlier. I'm not telling you to run from problems. What I'm telling you is, you know what you want. You at the point where you could see this stuff, right? I knew my wife 6 months before I proposed to her. I knew in 6 months. People together for 5 years, 10 years, they ain't get married yet. 6 months. We was married in 18 months. Feel what I'm saying? So I knew already what I wanted, and I saw it all in my wife. So the fact that I knew what I wanted and I wasn't going to settle for anything less, and she showed all of this stuff, I you know what I mean, I went with it because I knew what I wanted. You got to go find out what you want. If you want the wife, you want the kids, you want XYZ 1, 2, 3. So a lot of my past experiences were the total opposite of what my wife is. When I say the total opposite of what my wife is, the total opposite of what my wife is. So I got everything that I asked for. Thank God I got everything that I asked for. I'm not, listen, anybody that's on you, I'm going to tell you right now, the people that look like they're in good relationships, every last one of us argue and fight. Don't believe the hype that you see that people, oh, they always on vacation, they always chilling, they always laughing, they playing together. Yo, them people fight like cats and dogs. Behind all that stuff, right? I'm not saying my wife and I fight, but we argue, we fight. It look good, but it's a part of it. You feel what I'm saying? It's a part of it. It's how this goes. You ain't getting a good relationship without a thump here and there. And I'm not talking about a physical thump. I'm talking about you might argue a little bit. You might go to one room, the other person might go to one room, whatever it is. But at the end of the night, when it's time to go to bed, y'all better be in that same bed together. That's how that works. That's how that works. I tried it one night, bro, not to sleep in the same room. Man, bro, I got worn out for that one. But I'm glad. I'm glad that she is the way she is. So to answer your question again, find your purpose. What is it that you want? What is it that you want? Don't settle for anything less. Real quick story, another quick story. When my wife and I got together, we started when we were dating, right? And she was talking and she's like, oh, yeah, we know we go on a couple dates and see where it goes from there and yada, yada, yada. I don't know how long we're going to be dating for or whatever situation it is, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how a year or something like that goes. She said something like a year. I said, a year? I said, I'm 37 years old. I'm not dating nobody for no year before I decide I'm at the point where I want to get married. I'm not dating nobody for a year before I decide if I want to get married. I'm going to know what I want to do. And that kind of pushed her over the edge to realize that I was really who I said I was, really what I wanted to do. And yeah, we went from there. She wanted to date, and I said, nah, I'm not coming in this just to date. 37 years old now, and I made my mind up. I'm done. I did enough. I ain't gonna say it, but I did enough in the past to the point where I'm fulfilled now. Like I'm good. I want to settle down. I want to make a family, have all the stuff that I got going on right now. And that was it. So that's my part on that. Just have a purpose. Know exactly what you want and go for it. Don't settle for nothing else.
Um, have a purpose. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I as a man have found that more important than happiness in a relationship to me is purpose. What can I be responsible for? Um, and in that I'll find the happiness in all of that. But I definitely feel like um being responsible allows me to be able to accomplish accomplish things in a way that will allow for relationships to thrive.
Yo,
Um,
Justin, here's how proud I am to be a husband.
wait a second. Call me first. I can't tell what the top part says.
It says a husband's pledge. Call me first.
Call me first. Yes, sir.
A
Absolutely.
husband's pledge. Call me first. So this is how proud I am to, that I made that move.
All
And
right.
listen, I know it ain't for everybody, but as far as mindset goes, I know people that you've been hurt, you went through some rough patches in the past. All of us probably went through it, and some probably worse than others. What I'm gonna say is, as far as the mindset part of it goes, right? As part, the mindset part of it is, you can win too. You feel what I'm saying? You can win too. You don't have to always take a loss. You deserve to win too.
Hmm.
Right? So I figure you keep an open mind. Listen, you can have a relationship. You can have a relationship and never get married and have a great relationship. But I figure for those folks that, and y'all about to probably jump me in this room right now, right? I figure for those folks that you're spiritually inclined and you go by the word of the Bible, the covenant is a necessity. Covenant of marriage is a necessity, especially when you're dating and then having relations with someone. It
Mm-hmm.
is that. I am not that fully blown spiritual person. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I use profanity. I'm a wild dude. I talk crazy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm not coming on here and making like I'm perfect, but I understand the level of the platform that we on. I can't be certain ways, but I'm not coming on here perfect. And I'm not saying profanity is a thing to be proud of, but I'm giving the real part of me. Like I'm me at the end
Right.
of the day, but I do understand what the covenant means. I never did until I actually did it. Got
Mm-hmm.
married. I never did. And I respect it more than anything in this world. Respect it.
Absolutely, man. It's important to go into that and see what I'm hearing right now is the covenantal marriage that you're in, instead of having on armor to fight against the love, now you have on armor to fight for the love.
To protect it.
And
Protect it.
it's infinitely more reinforced and stable and comfortable to be in that armor than the other armor.
Hey Justin, you know what the thing is too? You gotta protect it even against yourself.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? You gotta protect it even against yourself. What's the greater good here? Is it me winning the argument or me
Mm.
having peace here?
Hmm.
Listen, I can not win the argument. I don't want to lose my love. I don't want to lose my marriage. I could lose the argument. All right,
Right,
cool. I'm gonna win some. I'm gonna lose some. But yeah, and listen, sometimes some arguments gonna last longer than others.
right.
It
And
is what it is.
you got the
It's part of
book.
the game.
There's a poem in the book that says if we don't win, we lose. And that's the essence of it. It's
I
got to
love it,
be
bro.
us.
I
It's
love
got to
it.
be
I
us,
love
man.
it. I love it, bro. I love it. If we
Right.
don't win, we lose. God, please. That sounds like a
Yeah.
title
So
of a book. But
it's in the
listen,
book. Hey,
listen,
Moose,
you
man,
might want to make one specifically about that.
for that.
Yeah,
Write that down.
yeah, yeah.
Write that down.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, man.
Hey, Moose, you kind of quiet over there, man. Talk to us, man.
Oh, I'm here, brother. Just as I'm listening, I'm saying, yes, that's baby. That's part of the lasagna. It's in the food. Go ahead and eat it. I know, but like, look. I see. So, as I'm here, I can't wait to get to the space where Damien's at, man. That's and I'm gonna be real, right? I truly believe that most men want that,
Yeah.
you know, and a lot of times we don't know how to even achieve that. You know, like I'm gonna be real with you. When you wear the armor, you don't know. Like I've expressed this to Justin before too, Damien. I was like, what my fear is when you're in a healthy space. Hold on, let me try and clean that lens real quick. So when you're in a happy space, I worry that I might not be able to receive what's real because I've been in the armor so long. Everything is a perceived
Definition.
threat. You know what I'm saying? And the concept of being vulnerable in society has been so detrimental, right? And I speak on it in reality, like I've known some level of safety among family members, but I've never learned that level of safety in that one sphere that as a man you all seek for. We all seek for. And to have to always wear your armor in that space, I don't know what a healed or a safe or a loving space truly looks like. And I'm scared. I ain't gonna lie. I'm afraid of that. You know what I'm saying? Because either I'm gonna hurt someone or someone's gonna hurt me. So I'd rather protect myself knowing that I'm not intentionally out to hurt anyone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like Damien, I long for the opportunity to experience what you are. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? I really long for that opportunity. But I feel like that's so far away. I can't even imagine it. You
Hey
know?
Moose, I don't think you should put that limitation on it, man. And I
Mm,
think somebody here, I think it might be vulnerable perspective. He was saying something about having the confidence in certain things, right? I'm saying this for me. I'm not saying this for everybody else, but here's what I did during that year that I took to get myself together. I built a lot for myself, right? And one of the things that I did was I started going to the gym heavy back then at that point, right? And it was I was going to the gym because I had so much anger and frustration to let out, and the gym wound up being my friend. It sounds crazy, right? Hey
mm.
Justin, I know you hit the gym from time to time, right?
Yeah, no, no, that's
The
that's
gym wound
that's
up
That's a
being.
safe space.
You see what I'm saying? Moose, you do your push-ups every day, right? And
That's a safe
it
space.
the gym wound up being my friend. But what it did was, as I'm in there, and it started with me getting stronger. Maybe I was only doing 135 on the bench. When I got to 225, it was like, okay, my confidence done built up. I done built my way up to something, right? So, from the gentleman, vulnerable perspective, he was saying now that it was something towards boils down to confidence, right? I'm I don't want to sound cocky here, but it is a part of me. It is a part of me, and I can't lie about it, right? I'm at the point right now that I know for a fact that um, if I stay on my straight and narrow on the path that I am, I could lose it all and get it back.
mm,
This is this is where I'm at with it, right? Believe me, I don't want to lose it all. I got a lot now. I don't want to lose it all, right? But
right.
what I'm saying is, with or without anybody, I can get it back. This is the confidence I got in myself. That's the part I'm trying to make. With or without anybody, I can get it back, right? And
I feel
it's
the
a
same way though,
mindset
bro.
thing for me, huh?
I feel the same way though, right? Like
Hmm.
the things that I can attain in life on
Yes.
my own,
Hmm.
I can lose and get back like this.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
going like I understand because I went through life and child of an immigrant, learning and experiencing, trial after trial, building
Hmm.
up,
Hmm.
falling. I can get anything back.
Hmm.
That's not. I don't think I will, guys. Give me 1 second, love. I don't think that I could. That's my issue. My issue
Hmm.
isn't in confidence as a man. I think it's the issue I have is when you got to what you believe you needed
Hmm.
and you felt like, all right, boom, this is the place where I'm supposed to take the armor off.
Hmm.
This is the place where I'm supposed to feel safest. Because as a man, you growing up, you learning to be the safety of everybody else. So for you, what your safety looks like is real different. You looking for safety emotionally, safety with your thoughts, safety with your story, with your heart. That's what you're looking for safety for, because I don't need it safety on any other aspect. But the problem is that once you go ahead and you think you achieved and this is what you did and you created that safe place for everybody else, you
Hmm.
got your fortress, then you take the armor off because now
Hmm.
you ain't at war, at least you think. Now you take that armor off, and
Hmm.
then now it's like, oh snap, my friend or foe identifier is going off, and it's letting me know like, yo, something's glitching because you got nothing but friendlies here, but it looked like foes.
Hmm.
And now you rapping, now you rushing, now you getting back armor. You hear the sirens going off, boom, boom, boom. You're in armor, but you in your own home.
Mm,
That's That's the issue. So it has nothing to do with confidence. It has nothing to do with a lot of other stuff. It has more to do with being vulnerable and then being hurt. And then saying, hell, I can't afford to be hurt anymore. And putting that armor back on. So that's where it comes from me. Like the gym, being physical, protecting, doing all that stuff, that's easy. Confidence, that's easy. I got no problem with none of that stuff. The issue,
I think the part of me mentioning the gym was right for the confidence part. I think the part of me mentioning the gym, the confidence part was just to tell you a story that I wasn't as confident as I was in the beginning, lifting a certain level of weight. Right, I wasn't as confident. So me using the gym, what it did was I got to the point that I was willing to get under any weight that I knew I could manage, right? Even if I never tried it, right? So let's say I hate to keep staying here, but let's say I'm at let's say I'm at 305 and I'm getting 305 up 10 times. I know for a fact I can get 315 up once. Right? So what I'm saying is I got to the point that no hurt wouldn't take me off of my my pivot foot. It wouldn't knock me off of my pivot foot. No weight wouldn't knock me off of my pivot foot if it was in my reach, right? Even if I never did it before, it wasn't in my reach. Pretty much what I'm saying is you go into the situation and you got a plan when you go into the situation, whether it's a relationship, whatever it is. You go into the relationship and you got a plan that you're going in there. And the plan might not work exactly how you designed it to work, how it played out in your head. It might not work exactly how it is. But what I'm saying is when you see the signs of what it is, I'm at a place, I put myself in a place that I'm out of here. You feel what I'm saying? I'm out of here because I'm not settling for anything less than what it was. Thankful for me, it was only one try after the situation. Thankful for me, it was only one try. But I knew for a fact that I wasn't taking anything less than. And what I did was I didn't let it get to a point where I'm saying, if this don't work, I'm gonna sit down. No, like I said before, I think we all deserve to win. If you want to win, bro, go win. It's millions of people in this world. I don't know the exact number of how many people there's in the United States, but
8 billion.
It's a lot. It's a lot, right? You feel what I'm saying? And if you want to win, sometimes it ain't even going on. You don't even meet people randomly. You meet people at work, like somebody might work. It might be for the women, it might be the delivery man. It might be the dude, bringing the mail. It might be the dude that's doing the water, whatever situation is. For the dudes, you might wind up seeing somebody at the grocery store at the same time. And that might be your win. You feel what I'm saying? And I just look at it, I just look at it like, yo, we all deserve to win. And then what it is I just feel like if I'm just destined to win, I ain't, if I know what I want and I'm destined to win in my mind, I ain't getting knocked off my pivot foot. I'm going.
So what you're saying is,
I'm gonna do it anyway.
So are you saying,
Justin, before you go, I ain't getting married after this one though. If it, God forbid, that's it though. But
I don't even need to ask my question now. Hey, you almost had me. I was about to look for somebody else. You got it. No, I'm joking.
It's work, man. It's work.
Absolutely.
It's work.
I think the important part is we live in a culture, because a lot of what we're discussing tonight is influenced and impacted by culture. It's what people sit down and watch, and they, like you said, you watch the Instagram video and the trips and the breakfast on the super white plate, and the portion is big enough, but it costs $1,000 and all that old madness. That's what we see. We don't see the arguments and you don't see that till TMZ posted and people going back and forth. And so we need to have more reality based conversations where what you just said, you said, listen, we all argue, we all have our back and
It's the
forth, we all
truth,
have our
bro.
right. That is
It's
definitely
the
the truth.
truth. It is the truth.
Right.
I used to think that. I used to really believe that, yo, these people, not even TV people, not even Instagram people. I mean, people that I see around, like, yo, damn, they got a good relationship, man. I would love that, love this, love that, love this, love that. What they do, what they are good at, what they're good at is keeping their arguments inside the home.
Mm,
That's what they're good at.
right.
It doesn't mean that they don't fight and argue. It means that they're good at keeping they ish inside. For what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
I learned that not in the beginning of my marriage, but I learned that, and you keep your stuff inside. Here's the reason why. Outside influences can affect your common sense thinking because you might get influenced by a negative thought, right? I'm one
Right.
of these people too, right? And I know I'm jumping over subject. If I ever come to it, let's say one of y'all my boys, right? And I come to one of y'all and I tell y'all, me and my lady having a beef, an argument. You tell me to go out and go hang out with some other chick or leave her. Hey, bro, I don't want to be your friend no more.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
I
not.
don't want to be friends with you no more, bro. And I
Hmm.
mean, like, relationship over. I ain't answering your phone call no more.
Right.
I want you to tell me, like, bro, go work that out.
Right.
If you tell me, yo, let's go party, let's go do this, let's go do that, bro, I don't want that type of friendship
That's
at all.
grown man friendship. Grown man
Yeah, bro.
friendship. It's because we have to be committed to our commitments, and the people with us have to be committed to our commitments as we are committed to theirs. That's grown
Mm-hmm.
man friendship. That's real brotherhood. So
Mm-hmm.
absolutely that I man, I absolutely love what you just said. I love that to the bone because
Yeah,
I do
bro.
not I legit don't have friends that if you my friend,
Yeah,
what you do is your business, but I'm gonna always tell you to do the right thing.
exactly, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What you do is your business. But I'm me coming to me, oh man, you supposed to be my bro. Nah, I ain't trying to hear that. You made a commitment. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
don't because if you got the if you're cheating, that means you're being deceptive. And if you can be deceptive to a person you lay in bed next to and be as vulnerable as you can,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how can I trust you?
Yeah, man.
That's
Yeah,
that's a
man.
that's a rough space. That's a rough space for me to believe that you I because I don't give you none. So how you gonna be you not being honest with the person that give you them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, I 1,000% respect and agree with that. 1,000%.
Hey, brother Justin,
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
jot that down for week 3, brother.
Yeah.
Jot that down for week 3 because I want to talk about that on week 3 because
I already watched that like 10
a lot of people say that they don't see men do this with men.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And I've only known men in my circle that do exactly what you said, Damien.
Mm-hmm.
Do exactly what you said, Justin. You know,
Right.
you may get one here or there that might say something opposite, but you already know what it is. Yes, baby, your food is in the microwave. It's already done. So you get that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm right here, baby. Hold on. So you don't really get a lot of people realizing that like men do that for men. I want you to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to overcome any obstacles, hurdles. And it's important because there's times that men don't realize that, like, how do I say this? That me overcoming and doing what I set out to do sometimes is more beneficial for me than the struggle that I have at that moment, right? Because you talked about building confidence, right? Sometimes as men, we need to be able to see that we can follow through and finish and achieve that goal. So it's important. And if you know that, you know to encourage your brother. Where I think where I think it gets a little tricky is where you in a situation. Hold on, that's what it is. I put this charger on here. I'm walking around and doing multiple things. Where it gets a little tricky, where you know, could that person be in a situation that is not safe for them?
Mm.
That would be the
I'll
only
agree with that.
that would be the only
I'll agree.
situation where, and like as men, we you get it, right? And I think even with us, we're still hesitant in that moment to tell a man to walk away from that situation,
Hmm.
you know? But when it is truly unsafe, I think that's the only way, that's the only probably situation where you'll probably hear a man, a good man, a healthy man, a man who is trying to encourage his brother. That's probably the only time you'll hear him say, walk away from that. But
Hmm.
most times it's in there. Hey, have you thought about this? Yes, son. I do, but give me 1 second. That's where you'll probably see, like a man will say that. But other than that, we're trying to encourage them to finish out. So let me scoop to him. But
I got you. So, I don't know. Well, Moose is taking care of something. I see we getting close to the end of this, but brother Daniel, let me ask you this: what did it feel like to take off the armor, to finally be able to take off the armor? And before you answer, I just want to point. God dog it! Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I got scam likely calling always. Um, Before you answer, I want to just remind everybody, brother Damien has the book that is in the rainforest called Call Me First, and a lot of the information that he's given, I could see he's somewhat being triggered by it because by the questions in the conversation because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
taking him back to that place, which can be dreadful and beautiful at the same time. So you're not just listening to somebody with the so-called expert opinion. You listen to somebody with you're listening to somebody talking from their experience. So if you haven't had a chance to go visit the rainforest and see if you can find that, it would probably behoove you and be thank you so much for the follow. It would behoove you to go and check that out. If everybody don't mind, if you haven't, I would love for you to refresh our friendship as we bring this down, as we start to descend on this airplane. But yeah, brother Damien, what did it feel like? Because I was gonna ask Moose, what would it feel like, or what would it look and feel like to remove the armor, but we have somebody who's already removed it. So what did, and let me say this. I'm asking this question because you, brother, are an example to many on what healthy looks like. Um
Damn,
and what
I don't
healthy
know.
sounds like.
I
Listen,
never thought I would be, bro. I
what
never
but
thought I would be.
you wrote the book. Let me tell you something what I learned about when I wrote my book. What I
Hmm.
learned about when I wrote my book, I wrote the book first, then I found it necessary after talking to a couple of therapists and some friends and some people on here. Man, you should go after this. You should go after this. So I was courageous vulnerability before Coach AJW, mental health coach, my sister Katie, my sister Lily, my sister Zion, mental health. She's a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like Brandy, all of these different people encourage me to go after the certifications after, but the stuff that I'm using to be the best at what I'm doing is before any of that stuff. So you may not feel like you may not have wrote the book to be an example, but you are now because now we know somebody that we can say, "Hey, man, let me go read chapter 4 about uh what it looked like to go through this process." You know what I'm saying? It gives people a reason to highlight and go back and go back and go back and go back so that we can be reminded of this information. So shout out to you for that. If y'all don't have the book, go get the book,
Yeah,
and then
appreciate it.
you know
Yeah, come in.
my brother Moose is healing out loud, and we know that's a beautiful thing. Um, but brother Moose, do you want to
Ask mama
answer
for
the
the food.
question before
Here, come
he
in.
answers the question? Matter of fact, let me ask Moose first, and then because I want a before and after. That was the way it happened in my mind, brother Moose. what would it look like for you, specifically you, not men? What would it look like for you to be able to take off your armor?
For me to take off my armor, um, man, I would need a contract written in blood.
No, the question
That's
was
real.
the, the,
That
the,
is real.
the question was, let's say you got the contract written in blood, you're comfortable. What does it look like for you to take off your armor?
Oh man, that's a process right there, bro. Um, I think I would be conflicted between the physical armor and the mental armor. I mean, it's all mental armor, but the way you picture it, right?
Right.
The way you picture it, like what piece would go last, you know? Because I don't think I would take it all off at once. I think I would take it off in pieces, you know? And I think the pieces that cover my torso and my mind, my head, I think would probably be the last
Mm.
if I were giving it some type of imagery. You don't need to.
Right.
So if I was giving it some type of imagery, um, the pieces on my arms and my hands would go first, you
Right.
know? Um, and I guess for me, that would be like me being able to feel out that I'm safe. You get
Right.
what I'm saying? And then
Right.
it would be my arms, and then my legs, and then maybe my chest. I probably would let my heart go first because the mind, I need the mind just in case I gotta put that chest plate back on. You know, guys.
There we go. All right. So, Brother Damien,
Hmm.
shout out to Vulnerable Perspective for being here. For those of you who don't know, Vulnerable Perspective also has a book in the rainforest titled The Vulnerable Perspective. And there's a lot of really, really, really good information there. He's working on several others. Um, but Vulnerable, I want you to think about, well, once Damien is done, I want you to I'm sorry. I want you to think about what you've heard so far, and then I'm gonna let you play catch up with the conversation once Damien finished answering his question. So, Damien, as someone who has experienced what it's like to take the armor, to be able to take the armor off, um, what would you tell those men who haven't? What would you tell them that they should be looking forward to? Obviously, generally speaking.
Everything I wasn't getting before, right? So,
Mm.
um, I don't want to gas out too much. She in the other room. She probably listening, but I don't want to gas out
Gas
too
up. Hey, gas up, bro. Hey, listen, it's too many that don't get to gas them up. So if you got one, gas them.
much. Listen. All right. So, my wife lived in. We live in Jersey, right? My wife lived in Brooklyn before this, right? So when me and her first started talking, and you know how Brooklyn is. It was apartment buildings and whatever. So one of the main things it's a life story. I know it's be a little bit dragged up, but one of the main things that I always felt bad for, right? When she had to park her car, sometimes you know how Brooklyn parking is. She had to park blocks and blocks away. Sometimes in the winter, whatever situations, blocks and blocks away, and I always felt bad about that. And while we were dating, I mean, we'll be on the phone and she got to walk, even with water cases, going to the house, groceries, laundry, whatever it is she had. And I felt horrible about that, right? Me now, when we got together, the fact that I felt so bad about that, and just me being a man, period, my wife, and two and a half years we lived together now, she has never lifted a water case coming in this house. She got a driveway to park in. She don't turn a screwdriver. She ain't got to turn a bulb. She ain't got to lift a rake up. She ain't got to take a garbage bag out the house, right? It's a lot that she ain't got to do. And I do it because that's my job as a man. But here's the payoff, bro. The only reason why my dinner ain't coming in this room is because I'm on the phone with y'all. Normally I'm at my computer, dinner here. I ain't got to ask for it. I lie to you not, bro. I don't cook. I can, but I don't. And I'm just being real personal with y'all, right? I can, but I don't. My wife cooks every day, damn near. Almost every day. Maybe she might skip a day or two during the week. Like I said, 2.5 years, dude. I probably went to that pot to go get my food maybe 15 times in 2.5 years. You feel what I'm saying? Laundry machine and wash and dry downstairs. I wash clothes. She get mad at me. Bro, you hear what I'm saying, bro? You hear me? You feel what I'm saying? She get mad at me. Like, bro, no. Listen, I use the help sometimes, but if I'm capable, let me handle what I gotta handle, right? Kids, homework and stuff like that. My daughter loves when I help her with math homework. But other than that, she take care of most of that stuff, right? So this is what it looks like for me, right? Don't get me wrong, dude. I didn't realize it was happening until later on when I realized that, yo, I'm not as angry no more. I'm not full of anxiety no more. And I started looking back at some of this stuff, right? Even earlier, I know we late. My kids putting up a Christmas tree. I had to go take a video of it. I'm sitting here on my computers. I had to go take a video of it. And I came back and I watched and I sat there and I said, yo, bro, I made it. It wasn't even money. It wasn't even money or nothing. It was just like my kids is up there putting the Christmas tree up. Wife doing her thing in the kitchen. And it's like, yo, bro, I made it. I made it. Bro, I ain't rich. I'm hoping I get through the next couple months trying to be an entrepreneur. I'm hoping I get through the next couple months, right? And don't get me wrong, like I said, I'm in a decent spot, but it's like, for real, like, am I, you know what I mean? So, but the joy of it was the family, everything. So this is what it looks like, right? And I'm gonna say this, right? And the woman here probably jump on me, right? A part of being a wife, AJ, get ready to back me up, right? A part of being a wife here, right? And this is just it's in the Bible too. You got to be able to be submissive and have a level of service to your man, right? And the thing about it is, as men, we got to be in a position to be served, to be dealt with how we want to be dealt with. Bills and stuff like that. At a point we was 50-50. I know that's another argument, right?
Yeah.
And another conversation to this point. Now it's like on entrepreneur, when we put our numbers together, we ain't really got to worry about that stuff, right? But for the overall picture of it is, bro, it feels good. It feels good to know you got one person. That's all you need to worry about. There's one person, other than your kids, of course, but you got this one person, and all they care about is you and the family. You got this one person that you got to answer to. You got one person that checks up on you. You check your health, make your doctor's appointments, whatever it is. Make sure you drink water. You feel me? You feel what I'm saying? Somebody that you sick in the middle of the night, they the one that's gonna make your tea. If you need somebody to talk to and share good news with, you got somebody to do that with. Somebody that got your back. Somebody that's gonna be happy for you. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes,
and
sir.
I know it's a tough thing and people long for that, right? People long for it. But make sure you yourself is ready for something like that. Make sure you yourself are capable of handling that type of love, that type of trust, that type of everything that you're going to get out of that. It feels good, Justin. I'm going to be honest with you. When you get one, I know we go through some bumps and bruises with the wrong ones. And listen, bro, every time we bring up the wrong ones, bro, I go back a couple years ago. It was rough. You feel what I'm saying? But it feels good, man. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it's work. It's work that it's so much work that I'm doing everything in my power to make this work, even if I got to take a loss in an argument. It's so important to me not to let this go because I think it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of people with what I got going on. You feel what I'm saying? And I ain't about to jeopardize it by me doing nothing stupid. And listen, I ain't running from an argument neither, meaning that I ain't gonna fold up and go be silent, leave the house, and yada yada yada. Yeah, I might come downstairs to my office and chill for a little bit, but yeah, but it's so good that it's something for me to work on. What I was saying, what I was leading to say was, it's a lot of work involved, and it's so much work that I ain't doing it again. So this
Mm,
gotta work.
mm.
Just like I feel like entrepreneurship is, this gotta work. I ain't doing it again, and that's my thought on it.
Man, I appreciate you for sharing that. I think that like you said, you get to that place where you have someone that you all are doing the work that it requires to make that space livable for the both of you. And because of that, you have something that you can say from the heart, because I can hear it from the heart.
Yeah.
This has to work. And I can and I ain't never seen it, don't know it, but I believe based on what's coming from you, your wife says the same thing. This gotta work. We're working on this. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
make this happen. If it's cooking dinner, fine. Because what I don't have to do is carry a case of 40 bottles of water nowhere. And I'm gonna tell you something. The beauty of that story, right? I could see as a man how changing the situation that has your wife having to carry bottles of water that far to not having to carry it at all,
Mm-hmm.
that's an accomplishment for a man. Because that sounds really, really simple, but it
Mm-hmm.
take a whole lot to get to the place where you don't carry the water. You're not
Yeah.
no, you're not carrying the water.
Mm-hmm.
So big up to Neuro Originals who said they're not carrying the waters either. All right, so we got Jared in the building. Bro, talk to us what you heard so far. We're gonna give you a yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't I don't really have anything to add. He's speaking all the facts. I don't necessarily agree in some of the terminology in terms of like arguments. To me, it's not about winning or losing an argument. You know what I mean? Because it's not you versus her, her versus you. It's the both of you against against the challenge, against the obstacle, right? So just the way that I look at it, right? The vernacular to that, I look at it a little bit differently. But I agree with him in the sense of everything that he's talked about and the bits that I could hear. Because again, I had bad reception.
Right.
I I had a rough day. Well, I'll say rough, but it was actually a great day yesterday into today, which led me into being late to leave and get home. So I apologize for not being here right at 6 o'clock on time to be a part of the entire conversation. But everything that he said that I was able to hear is spot on. I had a little bit of a different perspective than Moose in terms of the confidence in the armor and stuff like that. But it's different for every person. You know what I mean? So, but I do personally believe that we wear the armor when we lack the confidence to handle things on our own. So that's kind of like our shield, right? To protect us from the things that we're not quite ready to face. But I think it limits us from experiencing the things that we need to become better and to grow and to change into the more masculine, stoic men that we should be and that we deserve to be. And then at the same time, if we're not doing that, we're not quite ready to be a man that the woman that we want in our life needs us to be, right? So we're not ready for that level. So we have to grow to that level before we can accept a woman into our life that can complement us, right? So that can be submissive to us and that we can provide, protect, and preside over, and we have that give and take relationship. But that's just me.
Okay. I appreciate that. Uh, for those in the back and who don't know you or who aren't familiar with you, for those who haven't been here, um, there was actually supposed to be two more, but I'm glad Vulnerable made it. We all kind of had been having light conversation throughout the week. I would just throw something in there because I did not want the conversation to be heavily influenced with us with what we was thinking about. I wanted us to be able to come in and in the moment be able to have the experiences that's going all over Call Me First's face. And Moose is hiding his face, but I can tell Moose when he was talking, he was having some experiences to fill in the conversation at the moment. And I hope that those in the audience are feeling it as well. I appreciate these brothers so much for the conversation. I had one more question that I had uh written down, so I'm gonna ask it just because um matter of fact, I'm gonna start
Be-
with vulnerable on this one.
before
Um
you start, can I say
yeah,
something too?
yeah, absolutely.
I want everybody to understand though too, right? Armor is an important thing. It needs to be worn when it needs to be worn. And as human beings, we are to protect your hearts. So let that be known, you know, and I understand that like you know, some people, everybody has a different path. Everybody got different paths. They're gonna walk different ways. You know, there's so many different variables to so many different things. But how you get there is important. Getting there is important, and getting through it is important. You know, and that's what we're here for. So you may see and hear different perspectives because that's important. But I need you to understand, if you're listening, it is also important that you guard your heart. It is very important because you can't give it to just anyone. All right. People also have a responsibility to treat your heart with care and kindness as well. And if you have somebody that's in your environment or in your space that is not, and you're not safe, it's not so much always about confronting that. Sometimes you have to walk away from that. So I just wanted to say that before you jump into your next session, brother.
All right, so
Let me add real quick
well,
because I love what Moose just said, and I agree, and I think a lot of us. One of the reasons why I love this group of us is because we all know that we have varying perspectives. You know what I mean? But we have a massive love and respect and appreciation for the fact of the experiences that we've all had, right? And I've talked about in the past, like there are things that I'm never going to be able to go through that you gentlemen have gone through, and the sisters in the comments and whatnot that have gone through, you know. And that's one of the reasons why I love being able to be here to listen and to try to understand and to be a better version of myself. You know what I mean? And I that's most I got nothing but love and respect for you, my brother. I really do.
this is great. Um, vulnerable. I want you
Yes,
to
sir.
start this question off. After this, we're gonna bring it down to an end. I wanna try to have at least 7 minutes to close us out. So y'all can take the time y'all need. But I would love to hear from everybody who can answer this. How do you distinguish between a real threat and a fear shaped by past wounds?
Say that again, one more time.
How do you distinguish between a real threat? Because sometimes we wear armor. Remember, we talk about wearing that armor into relationships that don't require the armor. You said you was talking about how you went and your wife said, "Yeah, we're not doing this." You had on armor that wasn't required because she was like, "No, I'm not. We're not doing this. This can't." And so, in order to not do that, you had to take off the armor. And so, I'm asking all the brothers to give their varying perspectives. Starting with vulnerable. Vulnerable. How do you distinguish? And I ask for y'all to be as for as even if we all end up saying the same thing, we're talking to people who are not who we can't see right now. We're talking to men, and we're having what I believe to be a very healthy conversation for young men who listen to them fellas with the different color pills and tell them, hey, if she ain't washing your clothes and all this madness and all that kind of stuff, as if they don't have to do anything for it. But that's beside the point. I'm not getting into that. I'm not. That's not my argument. How do you distinguish between a real threat, a real emotional and psychological, unhealthy, toxic situation that you may find yourself in, and a fear that you have shaped by your past. Y'all gentlemen, y'all say it. Y'all, it's on y'all. But let's start with vulnerable.
So we're speaking of this in terms of getting into a relationship, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You as a man, say you
Hmm.
going, you as a man, you got some past experiences. The brain, the human mind will develop. You can see patterns. You
Right.
don't even have to necessarily try to see it. It just
Right.
happens. And
Patterns, behaviors that
perhaps,
we see that trigger us to
right,
bring us back to that nostalgic moment of a relationship that we had in the past that wasn't a healthy one, that
right.
makes us want to be like, nah, nope, I'm out.
How do you know the difference between you seeing the
Hmm.
pattern because it's there, or you seeing the pattern because of your past?
Right. So in these situations, what I've learned, what's worked for me in spotting and noticing these from being, fake because I'm making it up in my mind versus being a legitimate issue, is through communication.
Mm,
And I'll give an example where a situation had happened, and my first response is, "What was your intention in treating me this way?" Right? To help me understand, like, what you said, what you did made me feel this way. Now, the reason I felt this way is because there's similarities in what you did, patterns, behaviors, right, that are similar to situations that I've been in before that were not healthy. I don't know if you intended it that way, because intention makes a big difference, right? So I don't know if your intention was the same or not. So I have that conversation and I ask. And then I look at their mannerisms, their body language, the words that they say versus the actions that they do, right? And if all of that aligns, then I know that they're telling the truth, that they didn't intend it the way that I took it. And then I need to reprocess how I see those things, right? Because there's a lot of things that we all do that are similar to other men that women might see as a red flag. Well, my
mm,
ex-boyfriend did this, so you must be an issue. Well, your ex-boyfriend may have had that negative intention to make you feel a certain way. That doesn't mean that I do, right? I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what triggers you. Your triggers are not necessarily my responsibility, but for us to build and move forward, I need to know what you feel so that we can talk about it, and then I can explain my intention behind what I did, right? And vice versa. That happens on both sides of that fence. So
mm,
that'd be a conversation that I would have. So to me, it's communication, right? So if she says or does something that leads me to believe like there's an issue, I have to ask, what was your intention behind it? Why did you treat me that way? Why did you say what you did? And what was your intention behind it? And then from there, if it is indeed, a malicious, toxic intent, thank you, but no thank you. And I pardon myself out. I'm out. I'm done. Like, I'm not going to sit there and beg for somebody to change, because if that's how you are, that's how you are. And then you're not my person. You know what I
mm.
mean?
Brother Moose, same question.
Yeah, look, intention is true. That's a big part too. For me though, what I like, how does how does she how does the person that you're dealing with, or whatever the situation, how do they respond to you in that, right? Are they pushing you with their challenge, or are they dismissing and trying to destroy you? Like, is it building you or is it hurting you? Right.
Mm,
And that's important for me, and sometimes challenges can seem like they're hurting you, but really it's pushing you. And sometimes a challenge could be hurting you. So you got to just figure out, like, what are you feeling? And does that person consider your thoughts and feelings? Right? Does that
mm,
person give you clarity? Can you say, like, hey, yeah, look, I felt this way when you said that. And what does that person do at that point? You know? So you'll know if a person's building you or hurting you. And if
mm.
they hurting you, then yeah, that's dangerous for you. and you got to walk away from that. But if they're building you, then nah, you good. You know, and
Right.
sometimes building is hard, right? Because you're asking somebody to look in the mirror and see something about themselves that they may not like. You know, they may try to avoid. So, you know, and this person is pushing you. Like you heard Damien talking about, you know, some things his wife was doing. She was like, nah, you're not going to do that. You know, that's building you. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be something positive. And what was the second part of that?
It says, how do you distinguish between a real threat and a fear shaped by wounds, past wounds?
Yeah. Past wounds, I feel like past wounds come up like you get like, I don't want to say spider senses, but you get those, you know, that instinctual reaction sometimes, and you ain't even thought through it. You responded right away. I think sometimes that's because of the triggers.
Right.
That's because of the triggers of the past wounds. I think those, our responses to those are different than threats. Like a
Right.
threat, my energy becomes different. As a threat, I'm ready to meet that threat with either equal or more force. But I think with a past wound, my reaction is different.
Mm-hmm.
My reaction is instinctual, and it's something I almost sometimes instantly regret.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I feel like I have to respond that way, and I don't know why. You know, so
So
for
are
me,
you saying that you, if it's you just responding to one of your triggers and not necessarily what the person did, you
correct.
are willing to, not now y'all brothers know I'm about to get in trouble with this one, but you'll get it. You're willing to acknowledge it and be accountable for something like that.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
Like my triggers, if it's my triggers, you know, like honestly, and through my healing process, man, I'm telling you, man, like when some of my triggers pop up, I can recognize them. I can
Mm-hmm.
recognize them now because I'm not instinctually responding anymore, but I'm pausing. I'm pausing and I'm like, okay, boom. All right, I'm gonna have a difficult with this one. And how do I respond to that? And sometimes I may even say, hey, listen, this is a sore topic for me. Hey, this is a trigger for me. Hey, I'm trying to figure out how to respond to you in this one, right? And that's me now. So that's how I respond to it now when I notice it. And even if I act in a way that even I'm not proud of, I'll come back and apologize later because that was me responding to a trigger. And it had nothing to do with you or what you said. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. It's tough, man. But healing ain't easy and it ain't for the weak. Y'all know I say that all the time. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
you got to constantly be intentional about that and dealing with your triggers. Your triggers are your responsibility. It's not the other person's.
Ooh. Brother Damien, let's bring it home, man.
Yeah, I see me had to sit back in a chair right when you asked that question, right? Um,
You going through it tonight, bro.
you ain't lying, bro. I mean, like you ain't lying, bro. I mean, for real, I'm telling you, ain't lying. And I sat back to figure out if I'm gonna tell y'all the story,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna try to make it as quick as possible because I know the time is wrapping up. I figure I'm
Yep,
gonna tell
yep.
y'all the story, right? I think the first half of your question is like, how do you know if it's an attack, pretty much, or is
How
it?
how do you distinguish between a real threat and
Mhm.
a fear shaped by past wounds?
Yo, so in the space that I'm in now, right, trying to be a an entrepreneur and being on TikTok and being more open with life. Before, I never wanted to be on social media. I couldn't stand social media. Never wanted to be on social media, right? So me being open publicly, I don't know how many people watching and things like that, but me being open publicly with a lot of my stuff was always a difficult thing for me. But I understand now that the relation that people have that want to hear some of this stuff is a necessity to help people get through certain parts of their lives, right? So me talking from a man that experiences, let me tell you a real quick story. The past relationship I was talking about, right? One of the beat downs that I was getting was always the, I'm gonna call it a weapon, and apologize if I disrespect anybody doing this point, right? I'm gonna call it a weapon. The weapon that was being used against me and all out of talk was spirituality,
Mm.
right? It was spirituality, verses from the Bible. It was weaponized against me in a point, to a certain point, right? And like I said, I apologize if I'm using it as a weapon, but at that point, it was used against me in that context, right? So it got to the point that if a person even had a scripture, I'm scrolling through social media or whatever, just watching, if you even read a scripture, I was swiping past. I'm going, I'm out of here. I don't even want to hear nothing. Don't
Right.
talk to me about none of this, because this person beat me down so bad with that situation, right? Fast forward a year later, who do I get? Mama preacher herself as my wife, right? That's who I get. What I ran from and got beat down with is exactly what I wound up getting. But here's the difference. This, to answer your question, here's the difference. First, let me tell you this. Once I realized that my wife was fully engulfed in, you know what I mean, her walk with spirituality and the Bible and things like that, the fact that I got beat down so much, I kind of pulled back in the
Mm.
beginning. I did. I really kind of pulled back. And then I realized, like, yo, this was her life, just like the other person. This is her life. Three, I want to say maybe 5 days in, me and my wife talking, hanging out, blah, blah, blah. And I realized what she was. I said, yeah, this ain't going to work. I'm out. Why? Because, yo, you remind me so much of this person. You remind me so much of this person right here. Y'all say the exact same phrases. Y'all use the same terminology. Y'all say the same scripture. Y'all use them. You use them in the right in the same place. It looked too much alike to me. I can't go through that again. And I'm so deterred by the whole spirituality thing, the Bible, the this, the that. I don't want to deal with it no more. Fast forward 2.5 years later, look how beautiful this is. Look how beautiful this is. So the difference between them at that time was one was using that as a weapon. One was using it as a weapon, and the other one used it as a building tool,
Mm.
as a platform to walk on, as a structure, as a guide for love, a guide for just overall humanity. But it sounded so much the same. I almost missed out on my blessing because of past trauma.
Mm.
So the flip side of that now is, here's the other half of the story. My wife said she will never, ever, ever date a Jamaican. Guess who's a born Jamaican? Check it out, right? Check it out, right? She said she would never date another one. And 2.5 years later, look at where we are.
Right.
I showed her something different compared to what she was used to. She showed me something different compared to what it was used to. It's just the same title, the same country, same whatever, but I was totally different than what she was used to.
Mm.
And that came from actually opening up and saying, I'm going to give this person a chance, because there are not, let's say the person before was Jamal. This person ain't Jamal. This person is Damien. Let me give him a chance. This person ain't Sarah. This person is Candace. Let me give Candace a chance. And that's how it was. You treat everybody how they bring themselves. You don't treat them the same.
Right.
And if everybody can do that, I think you'll be, and Moose said something earlier about having a guard up. You should, but not, and I'm not saying you said this, Moose, but I just want to make it open. Not a guard to the point that you so protective of what you got going on, you so protective of yourself, that you get slighted by words and mistakes that weren't there. Vulnerable just said that. You making stuff up in your head because you used to something else. It wasn't there. Of course, guard your heart. You ain't about to let nobody play with you. But at the same token, though, guard your heart, but be open to the fact that you may be sensitive, you may be traumatized, you may be triggered. Is this person doing that, or are you reliving something from the past?
Mm.
That's my thing right there. So yeah, that's how I got it. Did I answer the whole question?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir. To me. So, everybody, it is after 8 o'clock, but I want to say this. I appreciate absolutely everybody who has been here and who is here. I thank you all so much for sticking with us as we talk through this conversation about wearing armor. I appreciate all of the men on the panel. Um, my brother Moose always called me first, aka Damien, and Vulnerable Perspective, aka. Do you want me to say your real name?
You can say Maryland.
Oh, okay. Vulnerable Perspective, aka Jared. Make sure you are following everyone on the panel. Everyone on the panel are, in our own ways, are working towards being a healed group of men, healed and whole group of men. So next week, juggling will our neuro originals will be taking over. I'm not sure which women she's already spoken to about coming on the panel and being a part of the conversation. What most of you all don't know is I only read one part of a three-piece poem. The whole three-piece poem will come out when the not the next book, but maybe the book after that comes out. But I felt like it was a conversation necessary to be had, and I was very, very hopeful that the gentleman on the panel would be on the panel to have the conversation. I have been thinking about this, and yeah, this is a really, really good subject, if you ask me. Now, what I will say is we got over 104, five, well, we got 105K taps. I appreciate that. I will, Moose, what y'all brothers say? I should read, do you think I should read all three pieces together when we get to the third week? So when we get to the third week, I will read all three pieces together. But once Neuro Originals, aka Cadian, aka Juggling Mummy, lets me know who
Yeah.
the people are that's going to be a part of the women's
All right. Give me a
discussion,
couple.
um, I will make a group chat and put all three pieces in there so that you all can have the full context, so you can have the conversation. Again, I don't know if Juggling is going to write her own piece. That I don't know. If she doesn't want to write her own piece and what I wrote was good enough, she can use that. If she wants to write her own piece, that's absolutely fine too. But any women interested in being a part of the conversation, please, please, please get with Juggling. I'm not touching that part of it at all. What we tried to do tonight was not so much talk about um the wrongs and everything of the women. We were talking about how we as men are processing and dealing with this stuff. And so I would hope that next week the discussion will go that way. But if y'all want to take shots, feel free to take shots. I do want to say I was intentional about not answering any questions that anybody had about the discussion tonight. Bring the questions to week three. That's so next week when the ladies are talking, I will be taking notes, I will be watching, I will be, and all my questions I will save for week three. Now when week three get here, I will say this, brothers, the ladies have a therapist on their side. I can't say how she took into the conversation tonight, but they do have a therapist on their side. But we're gonna be taking notes, and they got a therapist and a praying woman. I'm looking at simply, and you got Denitra, who is a pen assassin. Um, so they got quite